Welcome to my studio. I am finishing up some really interesting sculptures here. A lot of the ideas that come from sculptures, first of all, start out small. They're called maquettes. I figure out how the sculpture will look in a scale that I can move things around relatively quickly. And the pieces that I have here right now in my studio, I think are awesome. Now, one of them is the theme is the Holy Family. And this is a subject that I love getting into because you have three figures that have to relate. You're telling a story with the positioning, you're creating a mood. It's a wonderful exercise, and there's always the hope that you'll get it bang, right on, perfect, and the emotions will just fill up the sculpture, and when people see it, they will be able to have an emotional experience when they look at the sculpture. This piece here, what I wanted to do with Joseph was make him very strong looking, make him the protector. He's in the back, but he's all-encompassing within the sculpture. The expressions on the Mary figure, the relationships between the figures is very important. But most of all, what I wanted to create on this is that harmony, that unity within the figures, and that was really suggested by even the striations, even the lines of the drapery, all create this holistic, almost like a seashell effect that brings and draws your eye right into the center where you have the baby Jesus. So this is a maquette. I love how it's going. However, when it becomes larger, I'll have so many more opportunities to punch in more detail and more expressions within the sculpture. But the general layout is now done. The second sculpture that I worked on during this time kind of follows a lot of my pieces that I've been doing over the last decade, and it's showing compassion, showing that human life is sacred, and showing that spiritual relationship with charity, and that is, in a sense, our spiritual duty to help the marginalized, the forgotten within our society. So here what you have is a homeless person being sheltered by the drapery of Mary, Mary's veil. And so it's really interesting to me to see Mary, who oftentimes is represented very statuesque, very up high, in a very formal position, down on her knees, helping the least in our society. I think it's a powerful role that Mary takes, and I think that there's not enough representations in artwork about this. So here Mary is the protector, here Mary is the one that is showing the compassion towards all of humanity, especially the marginalized. And as I was working on this, I was thinking about Michelangelo's Pieta. And so I thought that this is almost like a new Pieta being created. Pieta means compassion. That's why I titled this sculpture Compassion. Oftentimes in my studio, because I have a relatively large studio, I can do large sculptures. And this is one that I started to do, inspired by several different conversations with people, a representation that celebrates Mary. It's a very triumphant representation of Mary. She's fashioned like Our Lady of Guadalupe, but there's so much more within this. Up above, you can see that I actually sculpted this heavenly sphere, described specifically with little teeny angels, but then I have the three archangels coming into the center. It's a very powerful piece showing heaven and showing the earth. Beneath the Mary sculpture is actually the world sculpted. This is a sculpture that's meant to be monumental. It's meant to be seen from a highway. This scale right now is, I think it's around 11 feet, but certainly it can be enlarged to 20 or 30 feet. But what I love about this is the general composition. If you look at the essential shape of it, it's almost like a cross with the heaven sphere creating the horizontal, and then the rays, these spiritual rays coming down, almost creating the stalk or the stem of the cross there. And so this is just another example of what you can do when you incorporate very traditional elements like Our Lady of Guadalupe, the three archangels, and put them in a new design, a new art piece is created, a new form of celebration is now within my studio.